Hey, how you guys doing? Michael X. So, I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to make 400 to, well, let's start from the lower part, which is you can make anywhere from about 300,000 to 400,000 silver in a day. That is, of course, if you have premium time. If you don't have premium time, it'll be slightly less, but you could still make it. And this is totally worth, 20 minutes of your time, because it doesn't actually take you a full 15 minutes to do this. I figured out a way that's actually, pretty easy. And this is dependent upon, spawning. Now, I'm going to say that this works pretty much identical with all the tanks I'm going to show you guys right now, which is you can use the Type 59, which for me has been the best credit maker for this game mode, PvE. And if you guys don't know how, you basically, when you go to this menu, you go to Proving Grounds, and then, that's how you get there. So Type 59's been the best money maker for me. As you guys can see, I'm up to 42 million. Now, you can use the Motherland as well, if you have it, or the Mod 1 if you have that tank. I have tried the Liberty, but it gets caught on fire because you get shot. There's a certain point where you get shot at from a couple different directions, and it just seems that you have to use your consumables a lot on this. Crew members getting killed, and of course, the Centennial can be used, but you're not going to make near as much money because it's just not fast enough, and that's what you need. You need a really fast tier 8 medium. Now, I know I'm probably making this for some people a little too late, but the Type 59 is available right now for the cheapest I've ever seen it. 6,700. And I do know that the I think it's the Elden Wise is another tank that you could use in this. It has just enough armor, and it's fast enough to go ahead and go through the island. And I've seen other people do tutorials on it, so you guys will be okay on that. So, next thing we need to do is go to our ops. Once you've selected your best credit earner that's fast, I usually pick Boom Boom Boom, Didn't Feel a Thing, and Steel Gaze. Now you're going to get Smell of Victory, and you're also going to get ×2 silver here and here, so you end up with a ×6. So that there's a possibility for you to earn on this game here, on your first game, 280,000 credits, which is a lot. Okay, once you do that, there's only a couple maps. A lot of people disagree with this choice, but you have to kill 3, which is easy. But you have to also spot a bunch of targets. So the easiest one to do that on is Island Race. So that's the one we're going to go ahead and pick. Now, if you do use the Type 59 like me, you're going to have to get an ammunition reload. And I'll show you guys exactly where I get the ammunition reload. And keep in mind, this doesn't have to be done perfectly. It takes time. And also, depending on what tanks spawn with you, that can determine a lot too. What I mean is like, as you go through the loops, you could run into 2 KV2s, which obviously are going to take more shots than other ones. And it's not necessarily about getting all the kills. That's something you could do for yourself. It's really about how much damage you do. That's how it's going to determine how much credits you're going to get. So first thing we need to do is, if you're using the Type 59, you're going to want to keep your turret slightly to the side. And I'll show you guys why. It's not to make it fast or anything, but what this does is that it makes it so they shoot you right in the center of your turret, and when they shoot you, it will hit your gun and break it eventually. So the object here is to not have to use your repair kit, which I'm going to say it doesn't happen for me a lot, and I'm going to say if it happens early on in the game, you're going to have to spend the 3,000 credits to fix it. I'm going to say the tanks that are most notorious for breaking your gun are the British tanks. The American, medium tank can be the same. So it looks like we have two light tanks that are relatively easy to kill. We'll go ahead and ram him. And if you guys look, as soon as I back off, the guys behind me are already trying to shoot this guy. So kill them as quick as possible. Ram kill them if you can. And of course, come here and try to get a good angle. And you can see I already have a module broken, but at least it's not my gun. It could have been my gun. So I'm going to go ahead and... Since my sight's been completely broken, as you guys can see, I couldn't actually see that guy for a second. Now, normally I would look away, but I could tell that that guy was going to do a lot more. So as you guys can see, we're up to 7 pins. So because this is a heavy tank, which it's not normally it's a medium tank, we're probably going to be able to get a couple more pins than normal. So this is where they're going to catch up to us a little bit. And I'm going to show you guys a trick on how you can actually, you know, keep ahead of these guys, even if they pass you. See how they'll pass you? This is something they added in the last update, and that is when you drive next to them, they will stop. So I can still slow them down, and as long as I kill the next tank relatively quick, you see that? You can make them all stop, and because you're still moving, it will give you a chance to get a little bit ahead of them, but they are right on me. And this happens sometimes. Like I said, it depends on the spawning. Sometimes all 3 of those tanks in the beginning are 3 light tanks, and I'll get the same pins that I have right now, 10 pins, and I'll get them in a quicker time frame. So with the Firefly, like I said, the British tanks, you do not want to be looking directly at them because of that. You also want to make sure you don't miss like I have been, but it's okay if you do. Getting module damage is also good, but it's not the absolute important. And also, you do not have to kill the guys. You can leave them for your teammates if you want to get ahead of them. And the reason why you can do that is because, yeah, it's about the damage. A lot of people think it's about the kills too, but it's not. It's really about that damage. I've had these guys take up to half. You know, like I only got 8 kills, I think. You know, I made a little bit more than half, but I've got 8 kills, and yeah. So all these places you're getting ready to see require a non-broken gun, which is why it's very important not to be looking directly at these tanks. If you look directly at them, they're going to break your gun. It's just the way it is. If you run into, and I'm going to go ahead and say if you run into the KV2, you're going to want to try and get into a hull down position, and do not let him shoot you, because it doesn't matter what tank, he will do some kind of critical damage, if not break your gun guaranteed. So it's just something I want to let you guys know. And you can see that I'm just staying just far enough ahead. Now if I was in the motherland, they actually would probably continue to get right up on me. And here's another medium tank that's going to require 4 shots from me. And he does have a strong enough gun, but of course, as you guys could see, those guys got almost all those. They got 3 shots on them, so they're catching up to me pretty good. Now, because they have to go around these obstacles. As long as I try to stay in a relatively straight line, I will be okay. So I'm going to turn my barrel again, and there's going to be this one tank hiding right before this, in this little gap. If you guys know Pacific Island, he's going to come in here. It really doesn't matter what it is. It's usually something you could just ram. A light tank. I have seen it be a KV2, but I mean, like, as long as these guys, when they come by, you block them and make it so they can't shoot, you're okay. And then there's going to be a huge area where we're going to be able to get way far ahead of these tanks again. So, this is a light tank, which is actually kind of rare. A lot of times it's just a heavy tank, which, these guys are actually in a position to kill him. So, I find the best thing to do is to ram him and get him on the other side of the hill so that they cannot shoot him while you're, like this, as you can see. He only has 6 rounds because he's an autoloader, and then you can get that kill, and it just makes it easier. As you can see, they would have actually been landing some shots on there, if not stole the kill. So we're at 22 penetrations, and we are at 18 rounds, which is not enough to finish this game. we're going to be doing something like 50 penetrations in here. So we're going to need to get ammunition, and this is the time that you're going to want to do it. As you come around this corner here, we're going to get the ammunition. Now what I like to do is just go straight here and don't just stay in a straight line and get as much speed as possible. Come down here and then start cutting. And I try not to e-brake at all, and the reason why is I don't want to lose any speed. And then I go up over this little area, keep going straight, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do a turn and come back around so we can get really far ahead of them. Now if you're in the motherland, this is where you have an opportunity to really come in here and get your kills. Before this, you'll be struggling with those guys shooting all your tanks. So I usually get that one area that you just seen. And I'm going to go ahead and go in for the ram on this guy. Now I used to try and block a lot of damage, but from what I've figured out, the quicker you kill tanks, the less the faster, the more silver you get. So this is an ARL 44, and I don't want to waste my money, so I'm going to go ahead and ram into him, get right up on him, and I'm just going to keep my turret to the side. Now if you know the rate of fire of these tanks, like this guy, I think with the stock gun, he has like about I think it's every 5 seconds, maybe. That's of course with the 90. So we're gonna go ahead and come through here, and I'm gonna say that these loops, although are here for a reason, it's just to spawn the tanks. So at this point, there's only one more tank that we need to spawn, which means once we get that right there, we'll be fine. So after he fires his 6th shot, that's it. We don't have to worry about him firing again. But just out of habit, I like to, you know. So keeping yourself and making it so that they can't shoot them, they will make long-range shots, the Super Persians, and they can do it because, well, even at full reticle like that, if they aim at a target, auto-lock, and fire, one of those guys is going to have a random chance to shoot him. So there's going to be 3 tanks here that we need to dispatch super quick. Now I used to go and ram this other tank, but I would take a lot of damage. So what I usually recommend doing is just coming around this corner, and as soon as you get eyes on them, you just start shooting. And then look away slightly and wait for your reload. You can see that the Super Persians are coming, so time is of the essence. If you miss a round or you have a bounce like I just did, you know, you're gonna have to try and aim for lower plates to see if that helps. Now at this point, we really don't need a fixed gun, and I mean, it's better to have a working gun, but we're still doing pretty good. There, it looks like we have 2 medium tanks, and we had 3 heavy tanks left. One of those tanks is a Persian, which is the tier 8. And I'm going to go ahead and say don't underestimate them, because you never know what kind of packages they're going to have. And of course, this is the Tiger P. So what I like to do is to prevent the other guys from getting him. You kind of have to realize they're going to do a drive-by here. So what I do is I try to block them. You guys will see here. You guys will see they're going to be coming around, and what you want to do is you want to make it so that they can't shoot him, or if they do shoot him, you know, you're blocking those shots. So as you can see, they still would have got him if I wouldn't have had got that last shot. So the Comet, this tank is known, like I said, all the British tanks are known for doing this. Now because they're right here on us, it's most likely that they're gonna actually get the credit for this kill. And there you can see my gun finally gets broken, proving my point that the British tanks are just notorious for breaking your modules. Like I said, we don't need the kill. I mean, it's nice to have all the kills. I have gotten up to 15 kills before. In this game, we're going to go ahead and get only 12. But you'll see that if I get 10,000 to 9,000 damage, we're going to be okay. So, 47 pins. This is going to be a Persian. And I'm going to say that sometimes these tanks will use well, best way to put it is, you know, very, you know, it seems like APCR rounds, but I think they just get, you know, better RNG. So I usually come here. I come here where they can barely see me, and I just stay here and shoot. And I try to do it before these guys circle because they will get pins on them, but you don't have to worry about it. If you're even close to getting 50 pins here, you're going to be fine. You're going to be doing fine. I usually lock my barrel too, by the way. I hit R1, and I'm going to go ahead and get this next track pin there. There we go. So we have 3 minutes left, so it took us just a little over 10 minutes to complete that. And it should be around 250,000, if not more. It just depends on how much damage we did overall. There you go. 261,000 for doing 10,000. Now just keep in mind, it is possible to do 11,000 damage in here. Look at how much damage was actually taken from me. So that's almost 1,000. Let's just say 1,000. So you can make 11. I mean, in total, if you got all damage to yourself, you can make about 11,300. So that's pretty good. How did this guy do 1 damage? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Alright. So it looks like these guys landed some shots too. Are they shooting HE? That's kind of funny. Okay. So on to the next mission. We don't want this video being really long, but it's the same thing, and it'll give you guys a chance to see what I'm talking about. As long as you're constantly doing the same thing, you'll be fine. Even if you die in the first game, if you keep going and play the second game, you'll still get a lot of money. Like I said, I end up with somewhere between 380,000, sorry, 300,000 to 300 to 400,000, somewhere in between there every day. It really just depends upon the spawning. It's not always the same spawning. So remember to hit your ops. You don't want to have to do this again. So we're going to go ahead and pick that again. Now I was going to pick the motherland for you guys, but I'm just going to go ahead and say I just don't use it. But I'm going to go ahead and say if you use it exactly like you guys just see me, you should be fine in the motherland. Sorry about that. I had to mute my mic because my sinuses getting me some tea as well. So we're at 17 minutes. Now, including me talking and telling you guys what tanks you could use, you don't have to go any further. I mean, we've made 200,000, but hey, guess what? We can make another 100,000 here. Now, if you guys happen to look, even if you didn't have premium time, it was still 2 something. So that's something you guys should consider. That this is something that will give you free money each day. And it helps you if you want to play tier 10s more. It helps you. If you're on a grind, it helps you. If you're using this tank and you're going up a Chinese crew, I've actually gotten 1 whole perk from doing this a day, because I'm getting, you know, 1,000 to 2,000 XP to even 3,000 XP doing this. Now, on this next one, I really don't care too much about anything because, I mean, we're going for 100,000, and usually the tanks don't break your modules, so I don't know if they just know you have all those ops. As you can see, look, it's almost the same lineup we had before, except for that medium tank, that Russian tank. And, of course, we have a Cheeto medium, which does have a 75 that can break your gun pretty good, and so does the Russian tank over there. It's really weird because I've noticed that the British tanks will do it from range and close up, and on here it seems like only the Russian tanks will be the ones that actually do the most damage to you from range. I don't know if it's just because of their inaccuracy. You can see he almost hit me right in the gun. This is where I think I block about 1,000 damage because, I mean, they're just firing at me. And of course, if I wouldn't have turned my turret, that probably would have been my gun right there. Like I said, you know, I'd like to get every single shot to land and not get any of the tanks killed. but it doesn't always work out that way. Like I said, it's not really about those kills. So we're pretty much exactly in the same spot. Now, I have put linseed oil before on this tank to make it so I could take off a little faster. And although, you know, it does seem to help for a couple games, after that, it's like I just get used to it and I start taking it for granted, and they eventually catch up to me just like they do. So I stopped using linseed oil on this tank, except for when I'm in multiplayer. In multiplayer, I believe it's worth using. And of course, it's a A43, so we're not going to want to look at this guy. Not directly. And I did miss that shot. It's funny, today, I almost never miss. And the reason why I don't miss is because I usually wait to zoom in to fire. And I will say, don't be surprised if you don't get one-shots on these guys sometimes. I've actually gotten ammo racks on this tank by shooting it where I am. So if you guys have ever owned this tank, you'll know that the non-upgraded version seems to catch on fire and get ammo racked a lot more, well, of the A43. So we're going to try and get farther ahead of these guys, and the way we're going to do that is by not moving. Let's just try not to move. Let's try and stay in a straight line as long as possible. I'm going to go ahead and turn again. Yeah, so there's a couple times where I've actually thought I could get up right there, and you cannot. You have to go all the way around, and there's the spot. It's an A40 or ARL 44. Not the best tank. Now this is a kind of an odd situation here, because he actually can do damage to you, and he does have enough gun depression, but his reload is about the same as this tank. So he just fired, so that means I can actually get full reticle and just turn away, and he shouldn't be able to pin me. Now you can see he actually hit my gun there. So I'd recommend not giving, going a little bit more to that, to angle to that side. It's kind of funny that he can even see me because I know he's a tier 6. The French tanks do seem to break your gun as well. I mean, they really do. But we do need to get this kill, or at least do as much damage. So almost the same exact setup as before. These guys have caught me. They're catching up to me. Now, once I hit this ring here, it'll show us what tank we're going to be getting next. So we'll know before we hit this corner. Okay, it's going to be a heavy tank. So that means we're going to have to shield them from these guys, because they probably will catch up before I get over there. So the front plate on this thing is notorious for bouncing stuff, as you guys just seen. And I don't normally at this range. At this range, I can usually just pin him, which is kind of funny. Yeah, you're looking for a bong noise is what you're looking for. You know, if it's not making, you know, like a ping noise, then you know that you're not angling your turret enough. Now, of course, if he is pinning you, then you're turning your turret too far. You know, there's only so far you can turn it. But yeah, these are just hints. You know, this is something that, like I said, I've been doing this for like 2 months now. And like I told you guys, if they give you more heavies, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to get, you know, that you have to, you don't have to get the kill for this. You don't have to get the credit for this. There is ways of preventing them from getting the kill, and that is to just simply try and block them from shooting. As you guys can see, they're going to be coming by. Yeah, and you can't always block them. But it's okay because we still have 24 pins, which is pretty close to what we had before. And to be honest, if you look, I actually have less rounds, but we did miss. We missed 2 shots in this game so far, so we probably would have had about the same, you know, 17 rounds. So now we're going to go in for an ammunition change. Going to need to get some more ammunition. Now you might wonder, well, what about if you just keep going and then fill it up when you need it? As long as you don't go through the rings, the tanks won't spawn. But like I said, if you can get this done in under 10 minutes, which is very hard to do, If you can do it in under 10 minutes, you know, then it will work. And you'll get a lot more credits for it. So yeah, what I just did there is just to make sure I don't lose my momentum. That way they don't catch up to me. As you can see, they're actually much closer than they were the last time, and it's because I'm not really focusing, and I know that the time 6 isn't going to be available now. So a light tank that we can ram and do a lot of damage to, we're going to go ahead and try and get full ram on him. I do believe that tank has an autoloader and it only has like 92 pin, which is kind of strange. And there is the German medium tank. Now this one, I've had it break my gun before, and I'm not going to go ahead and give him my gun, but you don't have to worry about him as much. I don't know why. I think it's because he only has a 75 on it, or maybe it's just the accuracy of the tank. It shoots you directly in a location that's obvious, which is what I think it is. If you look at my turret, they're really it's not like it was a spread out location, just shooting me right in the thickest point of the turret. So we're at 32 pins. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my gun, AMX-12T. So after he fires those rounds, he's gonna be out. So those Persians are right on our tail, so we're gonna try and block any shots they take. I'm gonna try and go in for a ram, and of course I didn't have enough speed, so it's gonna cost me around. Don't forget to get this little circle, because you're gonna need it to spawn. Actually, I don't think you do need this circle. Yeah, it's this circle that spawns the last tank, I think. Yeah, there you go. I think that's the last tank that there is. So you don't really need to get any more of these. So it's going to be the same thing we did before. As soon as we hit this corner, we're going to want to stop, kill the target to the right as fast as possible. Take your time, aim. Don't make mistakes like I did. Look away while you're reloading, just enough so where it doesn't break your gun. Now I'm going to say sometimes they'll break your gun anyway, and it's because of the inaccuracy of whatever tank's shooting you. And if it happens, don't be afraid to use the your repair kit. But I wouldn't use it in the beginning of the game. You know, I kind of wish that would have happened so I could show you guys, but you guys will figure it out. From here on, we don't need to get those rings. This is all about just killing these guys. We need to kill them as quick as possible. We need to block the other guys from doing any damage to them. And the best way to do that is to basically pull in front and try not to move him. Pull like right here. And there you go. You can see my gun finally got broken. Now they're landing shots on him, but the front of this tank is actually a lot harder to pin, right? And they finally broke my gun completely. So this is going to hamper a lot of stuff. The Super Persian does not have a lot of pin in it, so frontally that they can't really pin him very well. So now we have this Tiger P up here, and I'm gonna go ahead and fix my gun so that I can land in a couple more shots. And of course, I shoot one into the dirt. Now that cost me 3,000, but it's gonna be worth it because we're gonna be shooting exactly where we need to be shooting. Even if our gun gets broken, we're aimed in quicker. We're gonna be able to land another shot or two. It'd be nice if I could get an ammo rack kill. I'm actually gonna wait for them to shoot and hit him again, and of course they get the kill, which is okay. We don't have as many pins as we had before, and it's another Persian, which I'm going to go ahead and say that that's actually rare to get the same tank at the end repeatedly. Normally I get like the Carnarvon IS-3 fully upgraded, and I'm going to tell you, do not try to bounce rounds from the IS-3. It will pin you with every round, which, I mean, is actually pretty normal. And I'm going to say you don't need to risk. Don't risk yourself. A Super Persian doesn't have the best pin, and we could block some damage, but let's just go ahead and try and get rid of him as quick as possible. They already took one shot of his health, so we're not going to get as many pins as we wanted to. I could have drove up there and tried to stop them from pinning him, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it's not worth it, because if he does start pinning me, he could actually kill me. And so we still we have 3 minutes, so it took us, you know, just under 10 minutes, 20 minutes to do that and tell you guys how many tanks. Now let's see how much we got. 117,000. I'm gonna go ahead and type this in. 117,000 and 454. Whoops, I actually put 11,000. 1,017 454, and then of course we're gonna go ahead and just look at our log and look at the 200,000 game, which I don't remember what it was. Was it 270? And we'll add that up and we'll see what we actually got. Like I said, this will vary. It can be as low as 300,000. I've actually had some really bad games before where it's been like that. And of course our first game for 261. So 261 308. Yeah. So I need to actually recalculate that because I hit the wrong button. Sorry. 261 308 plus, I think it was 117. Let's go ahead and double check that. 117,454 equals 378,000 for 20 minutes in the beginning of the day. As you guys can tell, I'm actually a little tired still. You can see that I didn't do the 10,000 damage, and I still got a hefty amount. If you could possibly, and I'm just going to say if it's possible, if you get the entire 11,000 damage all to yourself, you can see that they got a lot more damage on this one. You know, at least 2,000 or even 2,500 off. So if you can pull the 11,000 damage on all those games, you will get over 400,000. You'll get, I believe it's something like 429,000, which is the maximum amount you can make on this. Now, I haven't actually achieved that, which is something you guys can set in the future if you're looking for it, is to set a goal to do that. So if you guys would like to, I can do it in the motherland. I'm just going to tell you that you can pretty much cut about 50,000 off of that, you know, because you're just not going to be able to do it, you know, the same. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial video. Let me know what you guys think of it. And of course, if you guys want to see more stuff like this, please, you know, subscribe. And of course, feel free to comment. Have a good one. Later.